Good morning. It is 9:17 Eastern Time on Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. Looking at the ES and trading plan for today. This is as early as I could get it done, and we had the PPI numbers and everything coming out at 8:30. Big move in the overnight, but still remains balancing in range and in value. That's going to inform where we open here in about 12 minutes, and just want to talk a little about yesterday. We extended on both sides of the initial balance, so we had a neutral day, and by and large, I mean, there was a pretty good strong move up, actually like a normal variation day, but then it came all the way back down, and then came through the lows, and then back up in the middle, kind of close to the open. So all in all, net day neutral. It was a neutral day. Not much changed, and so we're coming into, value was lower, overlapping to lower, but we're coming into FOMC today, so that might be the catalyst. Many times the FOMC day can be rotational coming into it, so just have to watch for the tempo, the volume, and what seems to be happening, the participants and things. So, but that does sort of inform what the odds are for some of our strategies and stories. I'll move this out. You can see in this W period how we had this big move down right at 8:30, right off the dot. W, the green, is the open, came down, hovered around in here a bit, and we had a little bit more to the downside. And let's see here. We are still in range and value. I'm going to collapse this profile here. Yesterday we had a few anomalies. It's indecision, and if we look at the overnight profile, you can see the same thing. So there's a lot of, it could be very choppy, not only because we're in range and value, but because we've got a lot of indecision, a lot of uncertainty in the market, as per usual, right? So you can see below, and you'll have to go back and do it for yourself here, but I've got some inflection points we never got to yesterday. We did some other ones, but there were some that still remain. And again, this happened a week or so ago, and we're looking back at November of 21. This is November of 20 that these references are, but we had sort of the same thing where it sort of came down towards them, and there were some other inflection points, and then the next day, then it made its way down to these. Maybe that'll happen today. However, primarily my expectation, I'd rather use expectation than bias, because I don't want to be biased. I want to be flexible, right? But we're going to rotate in range and value by and large until we see what happens at 2 p.m. Eastern. And let's see here. Let's just pull in the stories. Hang on a minute. Let me do this. All right. Better picture. You can see how we've kind of backfilled this concave area. We have another one in the overnight here, so if we open, maybe that'll hold it for a little while till market starts to get some legs. I do want to point out something in the overnight session, and also yesterday. This is not a really great high. You can see right here. It's sort of it's almost a poor high. There's just a little bit of excess here, but not much, and it's right on the TPOC from yesterday. It's a weak high, but there wasn't a lot of volume up here. Anyway, that might be coming back through there in the near future. But another thing is, one of the stories today is that we might come back and come back through yesterday's high. Well, a couple things to be aware of. We have a lot of, this isn't a great high, okay? The contract volume point of control, it's a weak high in my mind. It's also right on these swing highs in the B and C period of yesterday. This just is not a great high. However, there is a lot of excess here. So you got conflicting data points, right? You've got this tail, and you've got this low volume. You can see how there's like areas of low volume here. So unless there's a real, it's very important to kind of watch how it comes through this. All right, that's important, and that's kind of a thing comes through experience. But one of the ideas is that we have, again, something that happened. Gosh, I'd have to look back to see what day this was, but the market came through, and then there was a back end, so it came back into range. So if we do take out yesterday's high, another thing to be mindful of is that in this A period was open, test, and drive down. that's a long tail. So this is excess, even though, you know, there's a lot of potential for fuel, right, for short covering. But we had that, and it held for a long time. You know, the market tends to be real negative lately. Anyway, let me erase this. Let's pull in the stories, knock this out. Okay, the first thing is pretty typical for opening in range and value. We're going to rotate in value or in range until FOMC. That's no prediction. It's just, you know, those are pretty good odds. So you want to be looking to buy the value area low or sell the value area high. It's better if we develop value inside there first. Like, it doesn't happen right away. If we get a fast move to the value area low or the value area high, you want to confirm whether you should be buying or selling that, or you know, be right or right out. Right? You want it to work, or don't take a big loss on that. Right? So the next thing is, and you might have to take a couple shots. So you might be right, but you might take a couple shots. Don't take much risk. It's a balance. You know, you get shaken out too, right? So just be patient. You know, I'm talking to myself. Be patient. All right. If it holds below the value area low or above the value area high, story 1B would be, because this could easily turn into this, in spite of developed value inside, right? Sell the value area low or buy the value area high. And then we're going to take it a step at a time down to some other, it's going to morph probably into other scenarios. And then the other 1C would be to prairie dog the higher low. All right, I talked about, I'm not going to go into just detailing that. That's just, if you're watching my videos, that's the lingo, okay? Anyway, the next thing would be is that we open in range and value, and that we take out the overnight high, then the prior high of day, and look for longs. So it's kind of, we get on the other side. I put 4Trader here, which means the resistance becomes support. And I'm not going to say to pay attention to market internals or anything like that. I didn't have time to like write all this out or put this in here. I just erased what I had in here and didn't refill it. But you want to look for longs. You know, it might be choppy going up, right? So look for exits and reversals at inflection points. And I did put it might be choppy. And then the thing is, secondly, be careful for a fake out breakout and be ready to short. So it's the same thing as with the value area high or value area low, okay? And I guess 1C and 2A and B, this sort of is a little bit redundant. But anyway, I just went into more detail here. Just be careful and possibly short the prior high day and then the overnight high back into range. So let's say you missed the short from the high day. We didn't get a move outside of there and continuation to the upside, leaving yesterday's range behind. Well, when it comes back in, you might have another opportunity at the overnight high. That's all that means. And I also made a note to be aware of the excess that I already pointed out for yesterday. So the next thing would be on the downside is to take out the overnight low and look for continuation of the prior low of day. Okay. I'm not sure if I didn't put it in here, but we also need to be mindful of what I had yesterday is a back end. So we take out the overnight low, just like yesterday. Yesterday, this worked beautifully. This was the trade of the day. If we take out the overnight low and it doesn't continue, I should have put another story in here, but I didn't. Well, no, I did. Here it is. Sorry. Prairie dog overnight low. Says it all. Okay. Prairie dog overnight low. There it is. 3A. It's the first thing you want to watch for, kind of like yesterday. And then if it keeps getting kicked out of that overnight range and really looks like it's wanting to move down, we want to look for shorts against different inflection points, everything from the overnight value area low, prior low of day. I don't know where the overnight VPOC is. And then exit and inflection points below for reloads. I pretty much copied what I had yesterday. Initiate shorts against inflectuations with continuation. However, we need to be very careful because we're going to be very quickly looking to buy below. We're going to look down here where that there may be buyers also who we want to join. Okay, so we take out the prior low of day. We want to buy inflection points below, and so we're looking for buys around those inflection points. This is story number 4, and be mindful of aggressive, medium, and conservative entries, because if you just are been waiting all morning and this is the ones you want, and then you want to get long at the first inflection point and you're sitting there with a resting order, let's say you want to get in that way, you might just get run right over, right? So if you're going to trade more than one contract, you might want to, if you just can't wait, have one aggressive and then one conservative or one medium, that kind of thing, at a lower average end, a little bit lower, believing in the trade, but remember your risk. So just exercise caution on taking bounces. Be quick, because that first bounce may give you a couple points, but then it may just slam back down and continue on. Let's look at that area. Okay, I'm going to scroll down here, and then that'll wrap it up because we're about to open in 2 minutes. And got the shifting sands of here's the overnight value area low. Now it's down here by the close and the settle. This is boy, in that lower volume, which I don't know how valid this is anymore, but this, I'd put this on there going back to 1120 oh no, I'm sorry, that's down here. Never mind, scratch that. Anyway, so we get to the all right, this is next up. Here's the overnight low. Now I've got to go see if this overnight, okay, this is messed up. Well, you're gonna have to do your own references, okay? I think this was, I'll have to go back and make sure where that is. Never mind that, okay? It would make sense the overnight low is below overnight value area low, overnight. I think when I was moving these lines in, because I do these manually, I moved the wrong one, and I moved the 10-2 one to yesterday, but I got it right now, and then I'll go replace this. But this is not the point. The point is, if we take out yesterday's low, this was a support area, and it was a low volume area from November of 2 years ago. And I even said, does it matter? Well, the charts say the market says it does, and it did again. It mattered. We came down here in the initial balance when there's higher volume on the day, didn't even get to it. Came back down here later when the volume's picking up coming into the close, only took it out by a point, couldn't get past it. This is where we put in a low yesterday, but we have inflection points below, going back to 1123 of 20, and this is where you're going to be wanting to, if you believe that we're taking this out and we're going down, there's places you want to start looking for shorts. Like again, I talked about a move from the shorting against the overnight low with looking for continuation down to first the value area low, and also these inflection points if you want to go find them yourself and put them on your chart. And again, this one's suspect. I got to figure out where that is again. And then down here to the low of day, and then you've got all this below. So there's and then when you get down here, we're looking for it goes way back, all the way down here, depending on what kind of move. There's opportunities to look for reversals, bounces, or places to exit. So there you go. That's today. Make yourself a mighty great day, and maybe we'll see you later. Okay, bye.